Despite the 3 months that remain until kickoff, a handful of NFL teams are vying to stay in the conversation among the league's best defenses long before they play a single snap in 2018. Watson light years ahead of rookie season. Baker Mayfield may have to wait his turn. Pressure is on Leonard Fournette in year 2. Flacco playing like a fire has been lit. Smith-Schuster focusing on production. Carolina coaching in turn like Black Panther. Dallas Tays working out of Witten's shadow during the off-season. These teams took steps via pricey free agent acquisitions, trades and the draft to make marked improvements to their defensive personnel, moves that aim to bolster the championship aspirations many of them already had. Here's a look at where things stand for the top 5 defenses from last year. From roster additions and subtractions to how much better or worse each got, as well as which other team might crack the top 5 by the season's end. Minnesota Vikings. The Vikings defense finished first in yards, 275.9, and points allowed, 15.8, last season. Nick Wuzicka/Icon SportsWire 2017 NFL rank. First, total defense major additions, DT Sheldon Richardson, CB Mike Hughes major losses, DT Tom Johnson, NT Shamar Stephen, Pound Emmanuel Lamar 2018 outlook. The Vikings already had one of the most talented defenses in the NFL before they signed Sheldon Richardson to a 1-year deal in free agency. Adding Richardson to the league's reigning top defense not only upgrades the 3-technique spot, it solidifies Minnesota as a Super Bowl contender. Richardson earned a top 10 pass rushing grade from Pro Football Focus last season and should provide a serious push from the interior next to Linval Joseph. Between those two and edge rushers Everson Griffin, who is coming off a career sack year despite battling through plantar fasciitis, and Danielle Hunter, the Vikings will rival the likes of Philadelphia and Jacksonville as the best D-line in the NFL. Mike Zimmer's stout defense finished first in yards, 275.9, and points allowed, 15.8, last season while holding quarterbacks to a 73.0 passer rating. The rich got richer in the draft when Minnesota focused the bulk of its efforts on adding depth pieces. From selecting cornerback Mike Hughes at no. 30 to drafting players to compete for a spot in the defensive line rotation, an element that was missing in 2017. Zim hinted at wanting to experiment with 4 cornerbacks in some of Minnesota's sub-packages, and having a player like Hughes, along with 3 other first-rounders in the secondary alone. Harrison Smith, Xavier Rhodes and Trey Waynes should allow the Vikings to utilize exotic looks often, that will be critical given the elite passers they're set to face this season. From Aaron Rodgers to Tom Brady to Carson Wentz, Jared Goff, Jimmy Garoppolo, and Russell Wilson, Minnesota could use some more depth at linebacker, and if the Vikings don't sign a veteran free agent this summer, training camp will feature an important position battle to see who will fill that void, particularly at outside linebacker. Minnesota locked up Eric Kendricks to a long-term deal in April and could be looking to do the same with Anthony Barr next. The strength of this franchise has long been its defense. The moves the Vikings made this offseason reflect that, putting Minnesota in prime position to continue its run as the NFL's top defense. Courtney Cronin. Jacksonville Jaguars Pro Bowler Jalen Ramsey has emerged as one of the best cornerbacks in the NFL. Tommy Gilligan. USA Today Sports 2017 NFL rank, second major additions, DT Taven Bryan, CBDJ. Hayden S. Ronnie Harrison major losses, CB Aaron Colvin, Pound Paul Posluszny 2018 outlook. The Jaguars returned 12 of their top 14 defensive players from last season, including 6 Pro Bowlers, DeCalle Campbell, DT Malik Jackson, DeYannick Ngakoue, Pound Telvin Smith, CB Jalen Ramsey, CB AJ Boye. Campbell and Ramsey also were first-team All-Pros. Colvin was the nickelback and the Jaguars signed Hayden to replace him. Miles Jack moves inside full-time to replace Posluszny, and second-year player Blair Brown takes over at strong side linebacker. Those are the only changes from a unit that ranked second in interceptions and sacks and first in pass defense. Ramsey and Boye are arguably the best cornerback tandem in the NFL, and Boye has come back with a chip on his shoulder because he felt he got slighted by not making the All-Pro team. The defense had some issues later in the season, giving up at least 24 points in 5 of the final 9 games, including twice in the playoffs, and several players admitted they lost focus at times during that stretch. Coordinator Todd Wash has made consistency a focus during OTAs, and that's going to be the biggest issue, other than staying healthy, in 2018. Michael D. Rocco Denver Broncos Von Miller should benefit from the addition of No. 5 pick Bradley Chubb. Rich Gabrielson / Icon Sportswire 2017 rank, 3rd major additions, OLB Bradley Chubb, CB Tremaine Brock, DeClinton McDonald, Suark Ravens major losses, CB Aqib Talib, Pound Corey Nelson 2018 outlook. Many of their Broncos defensive statistics in 2017 were what the team has grown accustomed to in recent seasons, especially the 290 yards allowed per game and 89.4 yards rushing allowed per game. But the bottom line is they couldn't get Von Miller free in the pass rush enough because opposing offenses weren't worried enough about anybody else in the formation to take the almost constant double and triple teams away from Miller, and their 29 touchdown passes allowed was a factor of both poor field position caused by their own offense's turnovers, but also inconsistent red zone play. They believe they've addressed a major piece in that with the selection of Chubb at No. 5 in the draft. Chubb, as well as a healthy Shane Ray, he had 3 wrist surgeries last season, should give Miller more room to work, and he's poised for a huge year because of it. Bradley Roby has to be ready to replace Talib, who went to 4 Pro Bowls in his 4 seasons in Denver. The Broncos liked what they saw from Roby when Talib got tossed from one game for fighting with Michael Crabtree and was suspended for another in the wake of that fight. Jeff Legwold Philadelphia Eagles Brandon Graham, who led the Eagles with 9.5 sacks last season, is recovering from ankle surgery. Andrew Diab / Icon Sportswire 2017 NFL rank, 4th major additions, DeMichael Bennett, DT Haylett at major losses, Davini Curry, CB Patrick Robinson, DT Bo Allen, Pound Michael Kendricks 2018 outlook. The Eagles' defensive line, one of their great strengths during the Super Bowl run, has dealt with its share of turnover and injury this offseason. Curry and Allen are now in Tampa Bay. DT Tim Jernigan has a long road back following surgery to repair a herniated disc, and Brandon Graham is recovering from ankle surgery. The Eagles imported a pair of accomplished players in Bennett and Yatta to help fortify the front. Though both are in the twilight of their careers and dealt with injuries of their own in 2017, things will have to break right on the defensive line for the Eagles to experience a similar level of success as last year. Defensive coordinator Jim Schwartz will also have to find replacements for contributors Robinson and Kendricks. Robinson in particular played a critical role as the standout nickel corner. Fortunately for him, CB Sidney Jones, Achilles, is healthy and full of star potential. He should help stabilize the secondary. With a lot of miles on the odometer from last season and a few question marks hanging over this group, it wouldn't be surprising if the defense took a half step backward. But there's enough talent here to keep the Eagles among the elite. Tim McManus Pittsburgh Steelers Cam Hayward teams with Stephen Tuitt to form one of the NFL's best defensive end duos. AP Photo / Keith Strakosic 2017 NFL rank, 5th major additions, S. Morgan Burnett, Pound John Bostic, S. Terrell Edmonds major losses, Pound Ryan Shazier, S. Micah Mitchell, CB William Gate 2018 outlook. It's hard to say the Steelers' defense is markedly better without Shazier, who was having an all-pro season before undergoing spinal stabilization surgery in December. The rushing defense fell apart without him, giving up 133 yards per game on the ground in weeks 13 to 17 in the playoffs. Free agent addition John Bostic and backup Tyler Matukevich might be able to produce, but they won't replace Shazier. Still, the Steelers have enough firepower to contend for a top 5 defense yet again. They are well stocked with pass rushers, led by one of the league's best defensive end duos in Cam Hayward and Stephen Tuitt. They apply consistent interior pressure. The Steelers are hoping for major jumps from outside linebackers TJ Watt and Bud Dupree. Inside linebacker Vince Williams can build off his 8-sack campaign last year, and the secondary hasn't been this deep in years. They have at least 4 capable corners and a first-round safety. Edmonds, who might have trouble seeing the field behind starters Burnett and Davis, and at 6'2" and 217 pounds with 4.4 speed, Edmonds could grow into a dime linebacker in pass coverage. Since 2013, the Steelers have invested serious draft capital in the defense. That investment has paid off in overall improvement. But the cracks showed in big moments against New England and Jacksonville last season. Time to patch those up with a more consistent defense. Jeremy Fowler won to watch in 2018 Los Angeles Rams. The addition of Ndamukong Suh gives the Rams a fearsome duo up front with Aaron Donald. Michael Owen Baker AP Photo 2017 NFL Rank, 19th Major Additions, CB Marcus Peters, CB Aqib Talib, DT Ndamukong Suh, S. LaMarcus Joyner, resigned major losses, CB Tremaine Johnson, De Robert Quinn, Pound Alec Ogletree 2018 Outlook. The Rams took a win-now approach in the off-season, opting for the veteran trade market and free agency to add key pieces to Wade Phillips' defensive unit. Yes, the lack of proven edge rushers and second-level defenders should be brought into this discussion. I get it. However, with the additions of cornerbacks Marcus Peters and Aqib Talib via trades, along with placing the franchise tag on versatile safety LaMarcus Joyner, the LA secondary looks legit. That's a ball-hawking unit, a physical group with the ability to play man coverage, challenge routes and finish. Love it. Lock those receivers down and let the boys up front hunt the QB. Plus, with the Rams landing Ndamukong Suh in free agency, LA can pair the veteran defensive tackle with All-Pro and Donald. That gives LA two disruptors in the middle of the defense who can also put those linebackers in a position to run free, read, react and track the ball, and with Phillips pulling the strings in the game plan, the Rams can cater to their strengths to create turnovers, pressure and positive field position. The way I see it, this is a unit with the talent and the upside to make a sizable leap in 2018. Matt Bowen.